since you talked about the Lords of Fallen, and I'm sorry, I was supposed to be at PAX West, but life got to
Hmm.
me. That house stuff got to me. I really wanted to go, so you subbed in for me. So I want to hear. Did you enjoy it? I know you're not a Souls like player, but did you enjoy it?
So I actually did. Something that's interesting that I thought they did is they incorporated a lot more speed into the game. They have different mechanics for rolling, dashing, and then a dash behind, and all on how many times you press like the dodge button. Normal dodge, if you press it twice in succession, you dash. If you press it like twice, one after the other, you'll dodge and then dash behind.
Hmm.
So they put
I
a
don't know
lot
if I
of
like
like
that.
mobility in it. But at the same time, I think the thing that stood out the most in terms of like Soulsborne type elements was they introduced a mechanic called like Umbral,
Mm-hmm.
which basically Umbral is like you have basically two types of worlds. The first one is like what you can normally see, and the Umbral is like the like demonic world that you can see when only when you're in the Umbral state or when you hold an Umbral lantern to it. So there are things that there's like bridges that you can only cross by holding an Umbral lantern. There are bridges you can only see with an Umbral world. So you can actually turn into an Umbral form to have it just be the Umbral world in case there's like platforming sections that you can only see through the Umbral and you don't want to use a lantern because you won't know where it is. So that's kind of cool. They also basically implemented the Umbral form as another aspect of like when your character dies the first time and you're not in an Umbral form, he'll just instantly turn into his Umbral form and you have another chance to fight the person that you're at. But it's a risk reward sense because once you turn into an Umbral state, everybody on that map now knows where you're at. And it can get into a big map, so you'll be going and realize that there's like 30 demons chasing after you, and you're just like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
That sounds like something I would enjoy. I'm looking forward to this game. Did you get
And
a chance to fight any of the bosses?
yes, I fought the first two bosses. The first boss is basically a tutorial boss that helps you master the parry mechanic. Because as most Souls games, blocking doesn't help you that much. But parrying helps a lot. So when you block at the right time and you do like a perfect guard, you can also get like extra damage as well as have them have like a bit of a stun fit. And so their boss was basically just helping you master the tutorial in terms of parrying. The second boss that I fought was like a giant dragon that could teleport all over the place, and you had to basically follow his patterns, make sure that you weren't in the spot where he's blowing fire at, and hope that you can do some damage.
Because fire is bad, right? Warcraft players,
Yes.
stay out of the red. Oh
Yeah,
man.
so I imagine that you'd have a great time fighting the second boss a lot more than the first boss. Because I found the first boss as an actual, like, I would call it easy, but in terms of Soulsborne, it's actually a pretty simple boss. He only had like 3 or 4 different move sets that he just used one giant kind of a weapon where he just either slash horizontally or he'd go like on a bash your head in with it. So there's only like a small amount of moves that you just had to master, and it was just for you to parry and then get your hits in. The other one was more of learn his pattern and hope sure that you know how to dodge.
Cool. So you had fun playing it though.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing it, and it's funny because about 30 minutes as I was playing it, because that entire demo itself is about an hour long. So I was about halfway through, and then the second media person who was there left. They actually let my wife play it, and she
Oh,
was
nice.
having a very hard time against the tutorial boss.
Man,
So,
that sounds bad. Not that your wife's playing, but somebody else was playing. It was like, all right, I'm done. I walked away. Ah,
well, they might have just been there already at their hour time and finished it, but
how much of the game did they let you see? Did they let you see the available characters, or was it
they
only
let
like a
me
couple
see all the
stages?
characters that they had currently at the playtime, which I think there were 8 different classes that I can remember. The one that I played is the basic Templar Knight one because I just liked that he had a shield, so I was hoping that was actually going to be incorporated at all, which it kind of is, but again, blocking doesn't really do all that much for you.
And I'm glad
Parrying
to
is the way
see
to
that.
go.
That a lot of games, a lot of Souls games are moving away from the turtling tactic, basically block, attack, block, attack. A lot of them are putting more
Hmm.
parrying systems in place. So I like that, which means you have to be more aggressive as you play.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see they're doing that with this game.
Or
So
just get
they
closer to the dead zone. That's really it.
What?
dodge attack, dodge
Or just
attack.
it just get just like or like an Elden Ring or a Sekiro, you just or say DS3, if you get closer to your enemy's dead zone where they attack, and then you just beat them. You doesn't. All it really matters is what is the distance between you and the dead zone, and then you just beat them out of it.
Well, it depends
but
because
whatever.
some of those games also they cheap you where you get into their dead zone or you try and circle around back of them, which is kind of a joke with Dark Souls. They keep saying all you gotta do is move to your left and right. But certain ones will follow you
That's the-
because
yeah,
they break 3D.
well, some of the,
Yeah.
well, it depends if the attacks are circular, but mostly the dead zone trick still works. So it's like,
So I was kind of hoping to restart and do another character, but I was already like 45 minutes in. And I was like, I don't want to try doing the tutorial boss as a different fighter. So-
But I'm glad that the experience was a positive one for you.
It was a fun one. So it wasn't like I dreaded it. I knew that I wasn't going to be as good, of course, but I did have my experience with Bloodborne, so I wasn't completely hopeless.
There you go. Everybody's got experience with Bloodborne.